Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste everyone. Suppose that in your life, everything was always taken care of. Everything was always taken care of. Then how would your inner attitude change? If you knew this unwaveringly, that whatever it is always taken care of. Then how would your inner attitude change? We see these three words, Guru Kripa Kevalam. Guru Kripa is Master's grace. And we could have said, we rest in Master's grace, or we trust in Master's grace. But the word Kevalam is very important. Because Kevalam means only is. Only is. And why would we say it if it is not our living experience? Of course, it doesn't seem for many of us that it is a constant living experience yet. And yet something already in our hearts knows that this is true. That only the Master's grace is Kevalam. Now this tells us a lot actually. Because if only the Master's grace is, then the Master must always be there. His grace is functioning, her grace is functioning. So this Master must always be there. So which is that presence, which is always there? Which presence is that is always there? This is the presence of being, consciousness, Sadguru, God. It doesn't matter which term we use. So this existence is always there. So let's say this is the Guru, Sadguru within, whatever terminology we want to use. So this one can be trusted completely. So when Guruji says, leave your existence to existence, this existence is always there. And it needs no help to run any of this. As soon as I am, then I see that the world is. It appears without any individual effort. It runs without individual effort. I don't need to pick up an Ananta to switch on gravity. Like, Ananta, please come up, and then this world starts functioning. All of this is naturally functioning. In the light of whom? Or in whose light? In the Upanishads and also Bhagavan, he asks this very important question. In whose light does the sun exist? The sun seems to give light to all of this appearance. And in whose light is the sun perceived? So this Guru is the light of our existence. Therefore, everything is this Guru's grace. Everything is the doing and the experiencing of this one. That is why it is Guru Kripa Kevalam. Only the Master's grace is. Now, you might ask an important question, which is to say, you say that the Guru is within. You say the Guru is within. So why do we then come to outer Guru? Why do we then need to come to that so-called living master? It is because the game that consciousness is playing or has played is that it has identified itself with name and form for so long that it plays this game of fooling itself, of delusion, that it can no longer relate to that which is nameless and formless. If I come to you and say to you that, Gopala, I know someone who can be your best friend. You say, oh, good. I'd like to meet this one. And then you can't see him or her. You can't talk to him or her. You see, you can find no actual quality about this one. Then you will say, but how can I be friends with this one? I can't see them, I can't hear them, I can't have a conversation with them. What do you mean by friends? Is it? So when, in the same way, all of us have grown up hearing these things, that the Guru is within, but it can sound too abstract that we don't understand how to communicate with this one, how to relate with this one. Is it? In India, all of us hear what? That the God is formless. God is everywhere. God is all there is. We hear this. But how many forms of gods do we have? Millions. You see, in every street corner, you'll see a different form. So what does this actually mean? It means that although God is formless, in the play of delusion, where consciousness seems to have deluded itself with attachment or relating only with name and form, there needs to be a doorway. There needs to be something relatable, which can seem like this is the door to my true being, my true Sadguru. So then what happens? In some cultures, uh, it is prescribed by some prophets, sages, that this is a good representation, use this one. You see? The priest will prescribe, okay, this is good representation, let's use this form. So you can have Jesus on a cross, or some verses from the Quran. In India, it became very democratic in a way. Whatever you can make a form. You would like to relate with a God that is naughty? Is it playful, fun? Is it yet all-knowing and beautifully knowledgeable? Okay, let's make Krishna. You feel that God should be always righteous and struggle with all these human conditions and try to go through this journey of human exploration in a very authentic, vulnerable way, then we have representations of Ram. So whatever form that you can actually imagine, there is a representation which can be made or is available already. And the beauty of any such form is that it takes you out of this me, to trust in a deeper, to trust in a more divine. And these forms also can be the forms of the masters that have come and gone or still exist in their body. And it is beautiful because although some of us find it strange that why in India we put all of this photos of the masters everywhere, you see, what is this about? It's very good because at some point in time, we must have figured that the human nature has become so forgetful about the truth that everywhere I look, I want to be reminded. So here, like on this wall, Guruji is there. On this wall, Guruji is there. And on this, next to the window, Guruji is there. You know what I mean? The photo of Guruji is there. Guruji is there everywhere. Volume of the mic is full. My throat volume is not full, unfortunately. So these forms of those aspects of consciousness which have awakened, who stepped out of the paradigm of the mind and have awakened to a deeper intuitive reality. They serve as good reminders of what possibility exists here in consciousness. And I'm aware that some of these terms might sound a bit dualistic, but we are talking about how consciousness operates within the, when it is deluded as if it is something. So, to remind ourselves that everything is taken care of, we make, and initially we can even say we need an outer representation to show us this. I've often said that the beauty of having a living master is that they show you the possibility that it is possible to exist in this world, even with a body and family and work. All of this is completely possible without hanging on to the notion of what's in it for me or the idea of meanness. So this is a great blessing which is available to us. That is why whenever someone asks me, do we need a master in form? I usually say that there is nothing in consciousness which says that things must always be this way. But I have to say that from experience, I have never met one who has awakened to their inner truth without the presence of a master in form. Even Bhagwan, although he said that I have no human masters or disciples for that matter, he also said that the mountain, Arunachala, is his master. So that representation of Shiva then became his master. But where is Shiva? Shiva is the very source of all of this existence itself. And yet, even for the greatest sages, initially, we need a representation. We seem to need a representation which can be given a form and has a name. So that is the value of having a outer or external seeming master. And we must always be grateful for Guruji's presence in our life, because at least for here I can say that in the play of this life, in spite of so much learning, understanding, reading so many books, doing many practices, till I had the darshan of the Sadguru within through looking into the eyes of Guruji. I did not step completely out of this paradigm of belief, this paradigm of thought system. And when I say completely, I use the term a bit loosely. There is no completely. You can say mostly.